And once you have embodied language, you will know and you will have to come to terms with the fact that everybody is having disembodied language. That is a big thing. Morning. Yeah. So you discover that you can listen to yourself, that you can speak with yourself, and that you can have embodied language. You feel good with your embodied language. You enjoy your embodied language. You discover so much that you could never have discovered with the disembodied language that everybody else is involved in and that you have been involved in as well. Yeah, you have abandoned that disembodied language. You no longer want to be part of that. So you rather be alone by yourself so that you can have embodied language than that you are with others. And yeah, then you get most of the time drawn into disembodied language because people do not know how to have embodied language. Yeah. So if you begin to have embodied language, you realize like people do not know what embodied language is. So yeah, you could say that you are then on your own. And yeah, you could say you are against everybody who has disembodied language, because that is just the fact which you then begin to live with and begin to accept, because you are now woken up to your own correct use of language, while everybody else is using their language incorrectly, and you know it. Yeah, you know with your embodied language that they are using their language incorrectly, because they do not listen to themselves. They want other people to listen to them, and they are listening to other people, or they're pretending to listen to other people, and they're pretending to talk with other people, and they make a big deal out of that. I mean, talking with other people is a big deal, right? Why is it such a big deal? Well, because there are so many problems involved. And why is it such a big deal? Well, it is because our way of talking, our usual way of talking, is disembodied language, in which we create nothing but chaos. Yeah? There is no order that can be created with disembodied language. And the order that we believe to be there with disembodied language is actually a form of disorder. Yeah, we have not talked about that. We couldn't talk about that. But the hierarchical order that exists in disembodied language, right, where one speaker is presumably speaking and then the other person is the listener. Yeah, so the speaker and the listener in disembodied language are always separated. And then the speaker supposedly is more important than the listener in most of the cases, because the listener is subordinate to the speaker. The speaker is more important. The listener has to just listen, know his place. Yeah, maybe occasionally, once in a blue moon, a listener can also become a speaker a little bit to ask some question or something like that, or to make some remark. Yeah, but on the whole, the speaker just dominates the listener. On the whole, the speaker who speaks in disembodied language dominates the listener, is putting himself or herself above the listener. And so consequently, you get people who are, as speakers, presumably more important than others. Yeah, they are the authorities, they are the experts, they are the leaders, they are the celebrities, they are the ones that everyone pays attention to. And they dominate the conversation. They're the ones in power. Yeah, they are also the ones who have the means to punish other people. Yeah, to punish other people if they do not do as they are told, if they do not know their place. in the hierarchy. Yeah, and so it is a constant, it is a constant struggle for attention, which determines who is allowed to speak. And those speakers who know how to dominate the audience the best, those are the people that we listen to. And that is what is the nature of disembodied language. The incorrect use of language. Yeah? Because, as I've said, the speaker is not his own listener. Yeah, we say, oh yeah, he's full of himself. He likes to hear himself talk. But whenever someone says that of a speaker, that speaker is not hearing himself. That speaker wants to dominate others, absolutely, yeah. And that speaker doesn't care about others, yeah, for sure. But that speaker doesn't hear himself speak, or doesn't even like to hear himself speak. How could such a speaker like himself or like herself? If a speaker who has disembodied language hears him or herself, they come to the conclusion that they don't like to listen to themselves. And that is why. They don't like to hear what they're saying. They don't like to hear how they sound. They don't like to listen to themselves. So they don't listen to themselves because they don't like to hear how they sound. If you have embodied language, however, you like how you sound. Yeah. And because you like how you sound, the speaker and the listener are experienced as one. Good morning. Hi. Yeah. So, but again, of course, it is just a way of conceptualizing it, because I was just saying in the beginning, I was saying that you are, as a person with embodied language, against everybody who has disembodied language, which is which is just one way of looking at it. Yeah, because it is true that you are the only one that is having embodied language in a world in which everybody has disembodied language. But it is wrong actually to say that you are against everybody. Yes, you are against everybody in the sense that you're not participating in their disembodied language, but you are not against everybody in the sense that it doesn't bother you that they have disembodied language. That's very paradoxical, I know. But you don't care about the fact that they have disembodied language because you have embodied language. And you carry on with your embodied language on your own every time. And every time you get again derailed, yeah, because that will happen, of course. You will get again sucked into the disembodied language of others. And you have your own history, of course, your own conditioning history, due to which you keep making the mistake, so to speak, if you want to call it that. It is just a matter of conditioning. It's not a mistake even. It's just inevitable that you fall back again into disembodied language, because we're surrounded by people who all have disembodied language. Nobody has embodied language. I'm the only one that has embodied language in this way. You know, I'm the only one that can speak about it as clearly as I do. I don't hear anybody that speaks about it as in the way that I do. They can't. They don't have the skill. They don't have the knowledge. Yeah. So once you begin to do what I do, you realize that you are not against people that have disembodied language, in the sense that that you are arguing with them, or that you are against them, that you feel like you have to oppose them. No, not at all. As a matter of fact, it doesn't bother you at all, because you just continue with your embodied language, and you're fine. You're totally fine. Look, it is kind of overcast today. It's kind of a different day today. The sky is very different, but so pretty, you know, how that looks. I just love that look. Here at this part of town, you are seeing the open sky. You know, I like that. I like that very much. So yeah. So I don't feel bothered. Even though I can say like I reject all these people with a disembodied language, I don't feel bothered about it at all. I'm having embodied language here it is. Yeah. So, all right.